Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Say That with Vuitton Bond. I'm your host, Vuitton Bond. I'd like to welcome you to the show. This is episode number 25. I'm calling this one Stick to Sports, or Stick to Music in my case. Why? Because whenever something goes down, there are groups of people who want to suppress the voice of the artist or the entertainer, and there's a reason for that. But before we get into it, this talk is brought to you by www.VuittonBondmusic.com. Go to my site, get my tape, Gold Bars for free. It's dope. All you gotta do, put your email address in and you'll instantly get the first joint. And then this talk is also brought to you by the listeners of Vuitton Bond, my favorite people in the world. So, let's chat, man. Real talk, no cap. So we all know basically what happened in the last few days and last week or two. George Floyd, another unarmed black man killed by the cops. Police officer in Minneapolis knelt on this man's neck for 8 minutes. The man said, "I can't breathe." Kept his knee on his neck, which is quite a literal expression of when you hear people say, the white man's got his foot on my neck. That's as literal as it fucking gets, right? That it's right there. We saw it actually happen. Like, you know, dudes be saying it, but it happened this time. You know, it's crazy. It's like a reverse Colin Kaepernick situation. It's like Bizarro Kaepernick, right? We're gonna get into his bit too, but really not talking about him specifically, but talking about the movement, talking about the riots, the protests going on all across the country, even here in Raleigh. In North Carolina, people have been protesting. In Raleigh, there was a protest last night. Durham, there was a protest last night. Asheville, there was a protest. Fayetteville, there was a protest, which J. Cole showed up to, which is pretty dope. He's a man of the people. We all know that about him, though. So, I think downtown Raleigh, man, I think Fayetteville Street might have got trashed up. They've set fire to the CVS pharmacy downtown. There was some cars that got burnt up. It's crazy, man. I heard a rumor that Triangle Town Center Mall kind of got, a little ransacked a bit, which is crazy because I was just up there, last night getting pizza, from Dominic's New York Pizza. And the pizza was fire. It was dope. It was fantastic. But even here, close to home, every major city in America, people are protesting, right? Rightfully so, because this is wrong. This is a human rights issue. This is a human rights injustice, man. And an injustice anywhere is a threat to peace everywhere, or a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King, to paraphrase him, right? So, when things like this happen, people talk, people use their voice. Twitter goes crazy, Facebook goes crazy, right? But I think in this instance, from what I'm seeing and hearing, I think celebrities are a little quiet. Because Don Lemon from CNN was like, hey, instead of you celebrities texting and tweeting me, telling me how good of a job I'm doing, y'all need to be speaking out more. And usually you see celebrities speak out, but every time a celebrity speaks out, what happens? Some commentator will come out and say, hey, you should stick to sports. You should stick to music. Stick to what you do best, aka be a dancing monkey for us. You're here to entertain me. It's the same thing if you're a fan of wrestling. It's the same thing that Triple H told Booker T, right? People like you don't become world champion. You're here to entertain people like me. One of the most racist feuds in WWE history, right? It's ridiculous. That phrase in and of itself, stick to sports, stick to music, stick to what you do, it has racist undertones to it. Okay? But they tell us that. Why? Because they're afraid. First off, a lot of race-based stuff is based in fear anyway, but they say this because they're afraid. They're afraid of the power of a celebrity. Celebrities are incredibly powerful people with big platforms And their voices, man, their voices are more powerful than many, if any, politicians. You know, a politician's got a voice, but if LeBron James says something, more people are going to listen to LeBron or Madonna. You know, more people are going to listen to Beyonce or Alex Rodriguez or J-Lo, you know. And that's the thing, man. Like, we can't stick to what we do when we're human and we see a human injustice. We can't do that. And I say we because I'm an artist. Even though celebrity-wise, I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. Every day I get closer to my goal, but I'm an artist. I realized that my goal and my purpose is not to make music for me. It's to make music for you and everybody else. It's to add value to the lives of other people, to uplift them. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's what every celebrity should do. Use your voice. Colin Kaepernick did it at the risk of his career. He took a knee in the name of police brutality. He did not get a job. He's been unsigned ever since. Because the NFL is full of racists, full of good old boys. They're not going to support that cause, man. Our talent is a platform. And it's a platform for us to reach and influence people in a positive way. So if we were blessed with an ability to dunk a basketball, throw a football, or rhyme a couple of words together, well, shit. Those same people who listen to us, those same people who appreciate us, we could do them the solid, the favor of uplifting them, of raising their consciousness, right? Now, you know, people with powerful voices, man, they can really mobilize a community. A lot of celebrities have big fan bases full of black, brown, and white people. Imagine if you can get them all together in a coalition just by saying, hey, this is wrong, this happened, we need to do something about it. I talked about J. Cole showing up in Fayetteville. J. Cole showed up in Fayetteville in a protest. I remember Macklemore showed up at a protest years ago for somebody else. You know, that's awesome to see. There was an actor in LA. He plays on Insecure. He was shot by rubber bullets and beat with a baton by a police officer, right? Like, I mean, this man's in the field. He's doing the work. And that is so admirable, man. See, my family always talks about how every celebrity should donate a bunch of money whenever something happens. But for me, it's just use your voice. Because your voice, a lot of the times, is more powerful than money. It's way more powerful. Just about every celebrity has a foundation that they donate to, you know, donate to this cause, that cause, whatever. But using that voice to say this right here is wrong, that's powerful. Now, granted, if you want to use that money, I think, sure, we could put some people in some better positions with that money, of course, because that's what money's for. It's a tool to improve the quality of your life, other people's lives. It's to prosper yourself and others. So using the money to kind of uplift people is great, but also using the money to put behind a candidate at the local level, because local level politics, man, I think that's really where that front line of the battle is going to be. You know, if we just don't go full out war, because I think people might just decide, you know, fuck it. They literally want a war, let's give it to them. If they want to do a revolutionary war type thing, hey, you know, who's to say? 2020 has already been a year of upheaval. It's going to continue. Because if you know anything about the way the stars move and the way the planets align and the different energies, then you know, 2020 is going to be a motherfucker. And it has been that. And it's going to continue to be that. Give it a year or two, we're going to be out, but there's always going to be tumult this year. So, you know, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, when some conservative blogger, some right-wing asshole says something like, hey, stick to sports or stick to music. You should be dancing for us instead of trying to tell people that this is wrong because we believe it's right. And the reason we believe it's right is because it threatens our position in society. Can't tell people that. You know, that phrase is a literal knee on the neck. It's a knee on the neck. No different than what George Floyd got. I mean, that's the way I see it, man. They're comfortable in their position and they'll do whatever they can to retain it, including putting a knee on our neck. It's tough. That's how it is in America, man. That's the system. In America, that's how it's always been. It's a suppression tactic, but that's not always the way it's going to be because I have faith in the future. I have faith in what people could do when they come together and they say, hey, this is wrong. It's going to be a hell of a job to try to dismantle whatever you're trying to dismantle, but anything is possible, man. You know, anything is possible. You can only do certain things to certain people for so long until, you know, the guillotine comes out. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So with that, that's the show. Don't stick to sports. Don't stick to music. You call out injustices. You talk about things that are uncomfortable. You gotta make people uncomfortable to enact change. Because change is always uncomfortable. It's always uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to discuss. It's uncomfortable to go through. It's uncomfortable to heal from. But at the end of the day, change makes you better. It makes you stronger. Especially if it's positive change. If it's negative change, then, I mean, shit. That's a whole other thing. You know, I don't want to get political, but you know, negative changes was 4 years ago, 2016, when a certain orange creamsicle won and became the president of the United States. But we got an opportunity to rectify that and fix that. Go vote. I'm telling y'all, go vote. I'll definitely be voting. Mail-in ballot, whatever. I'm voting. Using my voice. Using my voice by voting. So that's the message for the day. Thank you for listening. This is another episode of Say That with Vuitton Bond. Hope this message reaches you well. Stay protected out here. Stay well. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Say that.